If you could go back to when you were first diagnosed, which is quite a long time ago, is there anything that you would want to do differently, or anything that you would want to happen in a different way, or do you feel that things worked out the best way? Did you get access to the information that you needed about Parkinson's disease?
Yes, I got a lot of information, and I think I was very well supported by my consultant and by the PD nurse. But I think that a lot of the problems I've experienced over the years have happened when I've been hospitalised, and that there's perhaps far more work needs to be done with raising awareness in hospital staff and care staff, rather than just the people in the community.
Sure. I know we spoke earlier about, you said that sometimes people don't see beyond the mask of Parkinson's, and they don't understand when people are switching off, or if they have fluctuations in their ability. Do you think those are the sorts of messages that we need to get across to staff in hospitals and clinical settings?
Yes, I certainly do. I've found that when you're talking to individuals in the hospitals, they understand, but the routine within a ward, or the policy or the philosophy of the ward, means that there's great barriers to them being able to carry out what seems to be a common sense approach. And I've had to get quite assertive sometimes before anybody's listened to me. And I've witnessed quite a lot of elderly people who've had Parkinson's who've been not listened to because they have a fairly quiet voice, or they don't look as though they're particularly with it. And you think, well, what they're saying is so true, but they're just being ignored. And I think that there's a lot of work to do in the hospitals.
Sure is.
And I feel that staff individually want to help you, but there's not the time, or the endeavours aren't recognised by management, perhaps, I don't know, but I think there's certainly more work needs to be done generally in most of the hospitals.
I think it springs to mind reiterating your message from earlier on, which is that everybody with Parkinson's disease is different, and they need to be treated as individuals.
Yes, that's right, and they need to be listened to.
Sure.
And often it's very difficult to get the energy to talk. You feel that talking is very difficult. And when you're trying to talk like that, I would think particularly when you're older, it must be very hard when somebody's walking away from you and not listening to what you're saying.
Very frustrating.
Yeah.
Certainly. Okay. Is there anything that you would want to say to staff, other than what you very eloquently said already about looking at individuals? Is there anything that you think that staff need to know about working with people with Parkinson's disease?
I think just to reiterate what I said before, you know, that to listen, and that look beyond the blank expression on the face, and also when somebody has gone rigid or isn't getting the appropriate care that they need, it's very, very uncomfortable. It's like having cramp permanently. When you go rigid, and when you're shaking like I am now, it's just frustrating because you drop everything, or clumsy and so on. But I would really like to emphasise that even though I've had Parkinson's for over 20 years, I've had a great life. And I've done all sorts of different things, and there is life beyond Parkinson's. It shouldn't become your focus in life. It shouldn't be there at the front of all of the things that you do. Living should be at the front of what you do, and you just have to find out ways of doing it appropriately. And
your philosophy is very much living life to the full.
Yes, certainly.
And managing Parkinson's within the scope of that.
Yes, I think so. I like people to think of me as just being me, not Rosie with the Parkinson's, just Rosie. You know. So.
Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to say, Rosie?
No, I don't think so. I think you've covered it all.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and for sharing your experiences with people. Thank you.
Okay, well, thanks for the opportunity too. That's great.